How's it going, people? Welcome back to my channel. A little video today discussing the transfer rumours, transfer targets, the names we've been linked with at Arsenal Football Club so far this January window. I know we're only a few days in, but there are already 4, 5, 6 names floating around being discussed on Twitter. Most of it is all this rumour mill stuff that the media channels like to push, and especially to Arsenal fans who tend to react most emotionally online and in turn give them the most clicks. But we all at the same time know that there's big issues in the defence for Arsenal, and most of the names we have been linked with have been defensive reinforcements. So that ties and pulls on the Arsenal fans' heartstrings a lot, especially now with Callum Chambers having performed well in a couple of games and then being so unlucky with his current injury, 9 months out. I'd say Callum's done now. We've got to move on. We've got to move on. No more waiting around for injuries. No more waiting around to see if this person will bounce back better. We've done the same for so many players in the past. I mean, even down to Rob Holding and Hector Bellerin this season. Earlier on, under Emery's reign at the start of this season, most of us was like, yeah, when Holding comes back in, when Bellerin comes back in, we'll get a lot more structure, a lot more shape. And in the end, they've come back in, they've dropped back out, they've come back, dropped back out. Holding, I don't even know what's going on with him. He was available to Emery. He's been available here and there since, but it just doesn't seem like he's grabbing the opportunity that's there in the defence at Arsenal right now. So all in all our defenders right now can all be replaced. That's how I look at it. Mavropanos is another one. He doesn't seem to be getting any chance whatsoever. The defence has been a mess this year, and if he's not getting a chance now, then when will he get a chance? We need to move on from him too. There's no more dilly-dallying for Arsenal Football Club. And I also want to touch on a couple of decisions made by this renowned structure we have now in Raul, Vinay, Edu. Well, to be honest, Raul in particular, because Raul's been around for 2 summer transfer windows now. I'm not sure if Vinay has, and obviously Edu jumped on board this summer. But I know in 2018, Raul, Sven was there, so the structure was just taking place post-Wenger. But when I look at those 2 windows, and I just tweeted this out earlier today, the highlight for me is we went for Socrates, who we got for 17.5 million. We was linked to Soyuncu. Yes, as people are telling me on Twitter, we was quoted 35 million. I'm not saying I don't believe that. I believe that. But most Premier League clubs would be overpriced in the value from European teams, because the European teams know that the English clubs make the most money. Commercially, definitely. So obviously, when an English club is coming in for a player, they're going to inflate the value. But at the same time, the only fact from that summer is, it's not a fact they asked for 35 mil. I believe it, but it's not a fact. And some people are telling me they didn't want to negotiate. But obviously, they did want to negotiate, because in the end, like I said, the only fact is he went for 19 million. So that's one transfer that highlights a potential issue we might have with Raul, first and foremost. So take that transfer for one. There was a 1.5 million difference in the end. And the difference in quality right now, the difference in value right now, I mean, Leicester could rightly ask for 80 million again for Soyuncu, because the way he's transferred into the squad following Harry Maguire, who literally just went for 80 mil, is seamless. United have conceded more goals than Leicester. Soyuncu is a standout performer for Leicester and the Premier League this season so far. Still so young. So that's just highlighting something. And when we move on to this summer, look, I knew Koscielny wanted to leave. Towards the end of the season, I knew Koscielny wanted to leave. March, April times, it was done. He wants to move on. He's on the downturn in his career. His physical ability wasn't there anymore. He was getting injured a hell of a lot, taking longer to recover. But what do we do in the summer? Dilly-dally all summer. And this is a summer just gone. We still need a spine following this great summer that we've we've supposedly had. But like I said, defense, we dilly-dallied over Koscielny. He then tried to force his move, which we highlighted, then looked like we were trying to hold on to him. In the end, we let him go and brought in Luiz for 8 million. Now look at Juventus. Juventus wrapped up Ramsey, Rabiot on free transfers. They bought Demiral. How much was he? 16.2, 16.5 mil from Sassuolo, another Serie A team. Now, the quotes for Demiral are 30 million up. Leicester have just bid for him. And I just want to talk about the Demiral and the Turkish defence right now, because there's a lot of opportunities there for clubs that need defenders. And the club I love, the club I support, there's no team that needs defenders more than us right now, I can tell you that much. So with Demiral, in the past couple of years, he's really pushed himself. I mean, he came up through the ranks at Fenerbahce. He wanted to test himself. He wanted to break through as early as possible. He went over to Portugal, lower league teams, went up to Sporting, from Sporting back to Turkey, Alanyaspor. But Alanyaspor seemed to just buy him just for a quick turnover, because they bought him for 3.2 million 2018-19 and sold him on in January 2019 to Sassuolo, who bought him for 8.5 mil. A quick 5 million flip for a club like Alanyaspor makes sense. And for a club like Sassuolo, who buys a player for 8.5 mil in January and then sells him on for 16.5 in the summer, doubling their money, makes sense too. Shrewd business. So as much as we talk about Raul, as much as we talk about the people above right now, the microscope is on them for me. It's on them right now. Because we messed about in 2 windows where the potential for a centre-back coming in at around the same price that we spent anyway was evident to see. For example, if we had Soyuncu, we'd have a centre-back on our hands, a young centre-back, coveted centre-back. If we had Demiral from this summer, we'd have a young, solid centre-back. The centre-back that starts, plays 90 minutes for Turkey in all of their Euro qualifying campaign. We conceded 3 goals in Euro qualifying. In 10 games, we conceded 3 goals. 1 coming away to France and 2 coming away to Iceland in our only loss in the group. And a lot of that Turkish performance comes down to the defence, the defensive structure, coming out of the back with the ball. Yes, you have Cengiz Ünder up there doing his thing. And yes, there is other young talent coming throughout the pitch for Turkey. But right now, the highlight is on the defence. Soyuncu, for example, he only started 3 of the 10 games for Turkey. Ayhan, 25-year-old centre-back, playing for Fortuna Düsseldorf, he started 7. That's someone we could potentially bring in. 25 years of age, Düsseldorf bought him for about 500k a couple of years ago. He can play DM, he can play right back, he can play centre-back, 6'1". That's someone we could potentially get for a few mil, up to 10 mil. Düsseldorf won't want much. I think they're in a relegation battle this season. But that's someone who's shown some defensive nous. And if money is as big of a problem right now, well, as it's ever been at Arsenal fucking Football Club, then you need to be more shrewd. It's not shrewd getting Luiz for 8 mil. It's not shrewd getting Jerome Boateng for 12 mil or for free. Like, we need to build properly. And this Jerome Boateng rumour just stinks of Socrates, stinks of Luiz. It stinks of a lack of knowledge, a lack of nous around defensive reinforcements from Raul especially. We need to be identifying better targets than we have been recently. We need to bite the bullet. At the end of the day, a lot of people are telling me, yeah, but if we bought Soyuncu in last summer, the Arsenal fans would have wanted him out. He wasn't playing enough for Leicester in the first. We've got Saliba, giving him a chance. Yeah, if we brought Soyuncu in, man would give him a chance. Even Saliba, when he comes next summer, he's not going to be ready, equipped for the league. He's 19, turning 20. He's still a young man coming into a defence that's been a mess for years. So people need to allow it. I'd rather bring in young defenders with potential and try and hone in on their skills and tailor it to what we need than bringing in has-beens. Yes, they've won it all. Yes, Luiz has won it all. Yes, Socrates has been around. Yes, Jerome Boateng has won it all. But on the downhill slope, one of those type of defenders is enough to exude his experience, his know-how. Bringing Boateng in on top of Socrates and Luiz is just adding to the problem, in my opinion. Yes, we've got problems there, but if it's just a short term, if it's Boateng in for January to summer, cool. That's fine. But then if anyhow I go see Leicester sign Demiral from Juventus, what are we doing? What are we doing? Leicester's defence is better than ours, and they're going offering 25 mil for Juventus defenders right now. How much did they spend in the summer? Because they spent quite a bit in the summer. I'm sure it's 40 on Perez, 30 million on somebody else. But we haven't got no money. We haven't got no money. Like I was talking about Demiral, started all games, conceded 3 goals, 21 years of age, turning 22 in March, 6'4". Great tackler. His timing is spot on most often. I mean, he's one of those defenders that knows when to step up and make the challenge and knows when to sit back. He's not one of our defenders that sits back from the halfway line and runs back all the way to the box without doing anything. He'll make the right judgment 9 times out of 10. Interceptions, obviously, that's part and parcel of it. Strength, physicality, big attributes that Demiral possesses. For me, that's the one right now. Upamecano, maybe in the summer when his price tag drops a bit. But with Upamecano, I need to see how his injuries play out too, because he's missed a hell of a lot of football. I mean, when I look at his injury record quickly, regarding knee, and knee is the worst injury to have, especially young, because knees never ever get better. If you operate on a knee, it never returns to 100%. You always lose something. So seeing that he's been out of 537 days since 2017-18 with knee injuries and knee problems and muscle problems around the knee doesn't bode well. He's good on the ball, determined, physical, 21 turning 22, a good age. But when you look at Demiral's injury record, none. Tough individual that we need right now. And like I said about Kaan Ayhan, the one thing about Turkish players is they've generally got a lot of fight, a lot of passion, a lot of heart. Well, the ones that pick Turkey at least have a lot of passion, a lot of fight, a lot of heart. They wear their heart on their sleeve. They're on it. So I think looking into the young Turkish defence right now would be like even Ozan Kabak, 19 years of age, plays for Schalke. He's going to be quality. He's breaking through now too. He's going to be quality. 6'1", centre back. They just bought him off Galatasaray for 15 mil. Broke his release clause. That was this summer too. So in 2 years, we might look back at this summer and say, hold on, not only Demiral, we lost out to Juventus by dilly-dallying. Kabak went to Schalke, 15 million release clause, and look at him now. He's starting for Schalke now. He's going to move into another club in the next couple of years, and we're going to see then. Yeah, we're going to see then. Kabak, Ayhan, we can definitely get. Yeah, Dusseldorf will take 10 mil. I'm pretty sure of it. Kabak, young, they just bought him. They'll probably want upwards of 20 mil. Will we do it for unproven talent? No. Demiral, I think 35 million should do it. Is he worth it? In my opinion, yes. In my opinion, yes. But will we do it? In my opinion, no. And that's just the way it's been for Arsenal and us fans over the years. So pardon my pessimism, but it's the reality of the matter. And about Boateng here, like I said, he's been around 7 titles, 4 cups, 1 CL, but he's out of favour now. I mean, under Kovac, their manager at the start of the season, he wasn't in the team. He was more or less a backup. Obviously, they got Hernandez, they got Pavard, they got Schüller, who's out with injury, they got Martinez, who they've been putting in ahead of Boateng, who's a defensive mid first and foremost. They got Alaba, they've been putting him as centre-back ahead of Boateng, who's a left-back first and foremost. So I'm tired of taking these old washed-up guys, I'll be honest. We tried it with Socrates. I understood then that you're trying to bring in some experience, some know-how, someone that's been around. Cool. Even with Luiz, cool. He knows the league. We've just lost a defender, 8 mil cheap. All right, cool. But now there's a trend happening here. There's a trend. Because if I add Littstein onto the list as well, we're just taking has-beens for cheap because that's just all we know how to do right now. Let me not get vexed anyway. Obviously, Nathan Ake, that's the last person I've got down here. 24, turning 25, out with injury right now, hamstring. But his injury record is clean for the last 3 years. 13 appearances for Holland. Obviously, he's also calm on the ball, good work ethic, good technique. He's someone that sees himself more as a DM. He's been vocal about that a couple of times. We need a centre-back first and foremost, but we also need a centre-back that can play ball, because it looks like that's what Arteta wants, and that's the way football has gone. So someone with good technique, someone that's calm on the ball, someone that wants the ball at the back line is something we need at the same time. Demiral is not the best on the ball. He's more about heart, tackling, physicality, strength. But we need a pairing right now. We need two. Yes, Saliba's coming in, but Saliba's had a rough time with injury over the last year and a half. Let's not forget that. And this is in France. So when he comes over to England, a much more physical league, let's hope for the best. Touch wood that it all goes well. But like I said at the beginning of this video, we can get rid of all defenders right now. Socrates, Louise, Chambers, Holding, Mavropanos. We can get rid of all 5 and I wouldn't care. Yeah? So we need to start replacing slowly. So if we can get an Ayhan in this month for about 10 mil, bring him in. Let Mustafi go end of the season. You're slowly adding the depth with Ayhan. Yes, he'll come into the first team squad. Yes, he'll be starting for us. But then potentially in the summer, you get somebody else. You start creating competition. You start creating partnerships, pairings. So with Ake, you'd have a ball-playing centre-back. Very good, something we need. With Demiral, you get a centre-back who has his heart on his sleeve, passion, determination, fight, spirit. Something you need. With Ayhan, you get some experience, 25 years of age. You get passion, spirit. He is decent on the ball too. You get a mix. That adds depth. So slowly, we need to be adding different levels of centre-back, different ages, because this whole shit needs revamping. And finally, just to touch on Max Aarons, I think that would be a wonderful buy, because Bellerin is done at here. I hate to say it, because I really wanted him to come back and prove me wrong, prove everyone wrong, but he came back very stiff, got injured again. How many years can we go into a season expecting Bellerin to be first team right back throughout the season and ending up with Ainsley Maitland-Niles? And yes, I know Maitland-Niles has improved, but let's not forget how it's been over the last few years. Let's not forget even he doesn't want to play right back. As much as Arteta might make him feel comfortable there, we need to be comfortable knowing the players in defence want to be there, they know what they're doing, and they know how to play that position. So Max Aarons for me would be a great signing. Great signing, because it's someone that can do a job, someone that's got potential, someone that Arteta can hone and make someone special there. Especially with Pepe on that side, you'd have Aarons coming, overlapping. It could work very well, because right now we lack combinations from fullback to wing, because our fullbacks are never fit. Our wingers have been chopping and changing all season, from Nelson to Pepe to Martinelli to Oba. It's been all over the place. Saka even earlier on this season. Now Saka's a left back. Tierney, Kolasinac, Bellerin, Chambers, Maitland-Niles all played fullback this season. We need to start building partnerships. Partnership centre back, partnership in the middle, centre mid DM, partnership on the wings with the fullback and the wingers. We need all that going, because we have nothing right now. But let me know in the comments what you guys think about the link so far this summer. Who would you want out of all them names that I mentioned? Obviously, I went off a bit on the Turkish thing, but at the end of the day, that's the players I know, that's the country I know. And when I can see so much good defensive talent coming through the ranks of my country, why wouldn't I highlight it to Arsenal? Why wouldn't I? Well, not Arsenal, but Arsenal fans, my subscribers, because it needs to be highlighted. Yes, Turkish football went downhill following on from the 3rd place World Cup finish, semi-final Euros, but it's back now. It looks like it's coming back, especially defensively. And don't even get me started on Cengiz Ünder. Obviously, he's had a rough season with injuries too, but that's a very good, exciting prospect on the wing, someone I wanted this summer. But it is what it is. Let me know about them defensive reinforcements. Are we going to even do anything this January? God knows. Hence why I don't do a transfer daily, all of that shit, because what is there to fucking talk about every day with Arsenal and transfers? Nothing. But look out for my Leeds preview. I'll bring that out Sunday night, maybe Monday morning, depending on how this video is doing. But love people continue subscribing, sharing. Add me on Instagram, add me on Twitter, Turkish LDN. And until the Leeds preview, I'm out, people. Love.